Now, why is chat roulette such a phenomenon? There are 4 reasons that this website called readwriteweb.com lists as why chat roulette has become the new phenomenon within social media. The first is the crave for peeking. We in our society have a voyeuristic desire. We like to peek into other people's lives. The second one is that it's face-to-face. It's not a chat room where you just have to chat and not see anyone. You get to see people face-to-face. The third is control. In other words, you can control if you want to next somebody, but with that comes lack of control, because if someone wants to next you, then they can just next you. And what can that do to your self-esteem if no one wants to chat to you? And the third is the no commitment effect. You don't have to type in or share any kind of password or any kind of username. There's absolutely no commitment.
So you've actually gathered a lot about this social media revolution. And you're talking about some of the negative effects of something, specifically the chat roulette. I've never heard of that before. But this whole concept of being able to peek in to someone's life, you're just meeting strangers. Do you think that with the social media revolution that there's something lost in relationships as a result of the technology, the way that we're now relying heavily on technology to connect with people? Are we even connecting with people through these like Facebook or MySpace, the chat roulette? People get married 1 out of 8. Are we really connecting? Is there something lost? If so, what is lost?
I think it's really clear that there is something gained, but there's something lost. Anytime you embark on new technology, you realize that there are going to be positive effects. But with each one of those positive effects, there can be unintended consequences. Now, unfortunately, in our society, those unintended consequences are piling up higher and higher and higher, especially for people who want to live in committed relationships.
Right, exactly.
One statistic that was listed here in a website by a lady named Elaine Sihir from UK said that the latest survey reveals that at least 60% of both men and women are being intimate with people other than their official partners. So that means that 60% of people who are married or official partners are cheating on each other. And she says that a lot of this has to do with the ease at which we can access new technology.
Yeah, I think what's kind of lost is just we tend to just look at what we want and never when you meet someone off the street or your classroom, you get to oh, this person's this way, I can live with that. You tend to be okay, I don't know, but I feel like it's more of whatever I want. And so if the media has this certain view of how your friends are supposed to look like, how your boyfriend, or how much fun you should be having in your relationship, friendship, or even in a romantic one, it skews what people are looking for. And so the whole roulette is I can keep clicking until I find what I want or what society think is the best girlfriend or the best friend. And I think that's dangerous, and we are losing this sense of I can like you just because you're you and you're different from Amelia,
Unique.
We're missing that.
No one wants to be committed to one person for too long, because they want to be able to have their choice of the picking. And so it seems like those genuine aspects of relationships, be it friendships or intimate relationships, are being lost through this social media networking situation that we have going on.
It's true. It's so true, because even when you're not in the same room with the person, you're not actually physically in the person's presence, there's something lost in even understanding that interaction that you're having. How real is this?
Right.
The person could be sitting, in their room at their computer, and you don't know what's going on in that very space that the person is in. All you see is the person's face, and that goes to even texting. You can text LOL, but you're not really laughing.
Right, exactly.
That authenticity is definitely gone.
I think that one thing that strikes me about that is, I think it's just a sense of insecurity, and also you trying to lower the risk, of getting hurt.
Right.
Instead of going out there to actually meet somebody and get to know them and invest time in them, and know that there is a chance that, it might not work out, and kind of put my heart out there, then if I can do this in front of a screen where there's not an actual, confrontation. We're not actually in each other's presence. Then if the person, click next on me, it doesn't hurt as much as the person, rejecting me. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't want to be hurt, so I want to find the person through a screen, through a computer screen, because it's less hurtful that way. And it's also, I guess just diminish that risk of being hurt. I think that's kind of like one thing that a person would think of, and that would lead them to do something like that. You know what I mean?
So it's go ahead.
So here's the question.
Exactly.
Do we just cancel our Facebook accounts right now? Do we just stop texting people? What is it? How is it that we, as young people who care about authentic and ancient biblical principles, apply those biblical principles in the 21st century in a completely revolutionized world? How do we kind of merge our beliefs and our principles and our desire to maintain some sort of semblance of the original intention with the society that we live in today? How do we have relationships with each other?
I think the first thing would be just knowing who you are. Your identity, knowing who you are is really key into, who you're going to go out looking for and what type of person you're going to receive. So if I'm not comfortable with being Deanie, and I all this, media is coming at me, all this advertising are coming at me, it's going to be like, okay, I'm going to be looking at people in this sense of what the media wants me to do. So I think the first thing is being comfortable with who you are, and as a Christian, who you are in Christ. That I may not be the best good looking or the smartest or the tallest, but I'm okay with that. This is the way God made me. And someone else that I could be looking for may not be the most gorgeous person, but I'm also okay with that, because it's not the outer appearance, but it's more of who the person really is. I think that's
on top of knowing who you are. I think it's just also knowing what you're looking for.
Right.
I think when you go online, because you can see, I guess you can meet 50 people in 1 hour. You know what I mean? And so it's just it's like you're picking out of a menu, right? Who is more just kind of going through testing them, whatever. And so if you don't have I guess character traits, if you don't have qualities, exact things that you want, and you don't know what you want, and like Deanie said, you don't know who you are and who you should be looking for, or what kind of person you should be looking for, then you're more drawn to that kind of thing, because you get to see more people, I guess a wider variety of people, or I guess some aspect of them within a less time. And it's also, I guess, a sense of impatience. You want it now. I want, I could say I want a girlfriend by next week. And so I'll go to a chat online and, talk to 50 girls and, pick, maybe I have a choice of 50 girls. Whereas if I go to a party or something, I may not get that chance to really get that kind of communication going between 50 girls. So it's I need it in a shorter time period, so I do that instead. So it's this impatience, and it's also, like she said, not knowing who you are and also not knowing what you want.
So it kind of begs the question then, what should we be looking for? What would be the standard? What would be something that we could say, universally, these are traits, these are fundamental characteristics that we should be looking for when pursuing relationships of any kind of nature?